Alright. Saving content, and I guess it'll be online in a second. So, we are going to be doing some more work on... I decided to do a stream tonight. I decided, why not? So, we will be doing a stream tonight about development for the tools. So what I've been doing today a little bit, towards the end of the day mostly, was going through and trying to figure out ways to make some of this code a little more efficient and use less lines of code. So I was also looking at the design stuff here and deciding like things I want to do here. So for example, as you can see, I made some changes to the UI here. I've decided to add in the presets, so like the things that you saw, these things here, these ones here, these presets, those are going to be in there, and I'm also going to add the class types and the attribute types as well as drop downs. So what we'll need to do is probably end up doing is that we'll have 3 drop downs up above these, and we'll make this larger and drop this stuff down a little bit further. And so I might do something similar to this, where we have the exit and all those buttons back where they were before, or similar places to where they were on the item database editor side. Right, let's see, eyeballing it a bit there. Anyway, so I'll put this over here where it was on the item editor, so it's kind of in a similar place. So what I was trying to figure out how to do was, okay, I have all these checkboxes and I have all of these drop downs that we can do stuff with, but the way that we were populating them with values from the data loaded in was kind of ridiculous. It was like, huge switch statements, and there had to be a better way to do it than that, basically, is what I was thinking of. And so I started thinking about what about using like for loops and using stuff to identify the values, and maybe some kind of map, or as they're called in C# dictionaries. And so I came up with a method of doing it. So on loading, we now have everything kind of hard-coded in here. I didn't want to do this specifically, but, well, actually, yes, I did. It was already hard-coded into there in the first place. Putting it all over here makes it a lot easier to maintain, though, because I don't have to go and change it in a bunch of different places. I don't have to go change the case values. I don't have to go change the either change the case values or add stuff, or I don't have to go to the list in the UI, the design editor, to add things to that. I just come in here to this const data class, and I add in the elements I want to add. They'll show up into the UI when they're loaded in, and then we can also use the values that are associated with the keys to do the checking and the setting and all that stuff. So I've done this for I've done this for some if not most of the drop down so far, and also the checkbox areas for the item editor as well. So for the job masks and the class mask values, those are in here as well. So let's just kind of go over how these actually work, and then we will figure out where we're going to go from here. So over in the ItemDB editor, we'll start there. We have a couple new objects that I've added in here, new variables, job masks, CK boxes, and class mask CK boxes. They're both dictionaries. This one's obviously a uint, and this one's an int on the key because of the differing value types of those. So we have those. We initialize them. Then we call one of these two functions. So basically, what this just does is it goes through. So we are using a for each loop, so we're having to manually increment, which kind of sucks, but it's what it is. And what I'm doing is I've actually gone through and made sure that I'll have to kind of readjust it so that the tabbing works correctly, and when I finally release this thing to the public for use. But I've gone through the controls, the checkbox controls in both the group boxes for the job masks and the class masks, And I made sure they're in the right order so that they're actually in sequential, or at least make sense in numerical order, so you don't have stuff that's showing up before it should. So like you don't have novice, swordsman, mage, blacksmith, archer, for example, because the blacksmith tab index, it happens to be a in between those classes for some reason. And so what it does is it goes into here. We look at we examine the group box for equipment jobs and the controls. Then we want to filter the controls to only get controls that are of type checkbox. And then within that subset of the controls, we then want to order them by the tab index of the control. So that way we get only the checkboxes in the group box, and they're in order by the tab index, which we then have set up to be the order of the be in the order that they are in specified over here, so that they're in the order that the masks are in the lists in the const data class. And then we use the I1 value to get the const data value for the key, and then we load the checkbox in as the value. Same thing with the class values. Then what we do is when we're loading stuff in, instead of having that god-awful giant case statement, what we have is just a simple for loop. So for uint masks, so we're still doing the get masks call. That's returning obviously a list of masks. And then we are, for each one in that list, we're checking if the, first we have to do this, because if we don't do this, then we get an error, because like C++, if a map/dictionary does not contain a key, it throws a critical error instead of just a, no, look, there's no key for this thing. So, and it causes the program to throw an error and crash. So we have to check to make sure the mask is actually there. And the reason we do that is because there's two masks in the list that aren't actually used. Those are the unused ones, if you recall. Those still get thrown in here because they're still part of the thing. So if they ever come up as being part of it or in this return list at all, it would crash it. So we have to make sure that it's only stuff that's there that we're taking down to here. And then what we're doing is we're just basically referencing the checkbox in this, the checkbox value from this dictionary, and we're setting the check to true. So same thing that we were doing before, with one line of code, one if statement, and one for loop, instead of a whole crap ton of case statements. Same thing with the other one. Now with the drop downs, is a little bit more interesting. These have become one lines instead of being switch statements. Let's see, where's one of them? Type. Where is the type? Item ID selected index. Here we go, selected index. So set selected index is a function I wrote. It takes a drop down or combo box control, and then it takes the value that you're looking for to match for it. So whatever you're getting from the data, basically. If we go down to that, so we have this this for loop again. So we're looping through every control in the, or every item in the combo box, and we are then basically casting it to a temporary key value pair, which is what a dictionary really is. Then in that key value pair, we're accessing the value and checking if that value equals the target value, or the value that we've loaded in from the data. And if it is, then we're setting that to the selected index. And that's basically all that is. Again, removes lots of code. So if you remember how long this loading code was before, for when we select an item, it's literally down to here now. It's just, this is it. This is all it is. And it used to go much longer, kind of similar to what these are. Now, the next question is, what about these? I have to figure out a way, or I'm probably going to devise a way, or think of a way, or try to think of a way, really, to take all this and smash it down to one or two lines, or maybe a for loop or something, so that we don't have the same issue that we've been having, solve the same issue that we solved with this stuff on the load, but for on the saving of the item. So just to show you that it does actually work, we will go into the editor, itemdb. I will load in one of our, let's do the test item. So as you can see, here we go. We got the normal Transcendent and Transcendent third classes. The type is a card, equipment location, footgear, and equip gender both. And these are the jobs that can equip it, or use it, rather. And all the other stuff loads in like it should. So, that's as simple as that. Now, what we want to do is go to the mob editor. We're going to work on this first. So what I want to do is we're going to bring this down, probably down to here. I just want to grab everything else and move it down. Just going to use the arrow keys. It's somewhat faster that way. Okay, it's not really that much faster, but I can be sure I'm not going to move it off where they were. I just like using the arrow keys to do this stuff. Yeah, it's probably good enough. Alright. So, behavioral presets. Then we're going to copy this a couple times. So the idea here is that when you select these, and that these will actually check boxes for you, so you don't have to check everything individually. So like for example, one of the options in here will be like aggressive. So well, there's a bunch of different options. You kind of saw them before over here. So you got different passive modes, different aggressive modes. Some of them have indications of what they are kind of what the modes are kind of representing. So like for example, a passive 7 preset is kind of like a slave. Passive 4 is kind of like a plant. Passive aggressive 5 is similar to a guardian, so on and so forth. And then we're going to have also a drop down for the class masks, so what kind of class it is, which will again check any unchecked boxes that are not currently checked from the behavioral mode. And then also actually not also, I've decided not to do the other ones because all these attribute types are already present in the original list. It's just these and this one that aren't. These are combinations of those original bit masks. These are actually part of the original bit masks already, so it doesn't make any sense to put a drop down for them because they're already in the checkbox list below. So, that's what that is for. And actually, now that I have explained that, we don't need the second one, which is fine. I will put this a little bit further down, though, but we will bring these back up, because we don't need that much room now. I'm just going to drag them up and hope I don't screw it up too badly. Maybe use the arrow keys to get a little bit closer. Alright, and then we can raise this up. I'm still going to keep these down here where they were. I think it was clear, load, save, and exit on the item DB editor. Clear, load, save, exit. Yeah, so I just want to try and keep this the same, so it's not exactly the same, but it's close enough that it's consistent throughout the each editor here. So, now, what we need to do is we need to do the similar thing we did with the other one, but we need to do this, it's going to be a little bit different, because with these ones, I did change the order around, because the order of these is kind of weird. For example, or wait, not these, or no, yeah, this, I did do this. So, like, for example, the different cast ones, I tried to keep them together. So if they're around the same kind of thing, they're usually around the same together in some way. Except for this can change target. That should be the other way around. And this ignore as well. Let's change that. So doing the dictionary on these is going to be a little bit more involved because there's things that are mixed around. It doesn't make any sense, because it doesn't make any sense to have the one cast sensor case sensor, it should be cast sensor. Not case sensor. One cast sensor up here and like another one down somewhere else in the list. They should be together. If they are related, which is what these are. Though technically these two should probably switch because this is it's a like derivation of this one. But whatever. We'll leave it that way for now. Actually no, that's gonna annoy the hell out of me. Alright, so I got those now. Ignore. P detector. Alright, so now what we need to do is go through and make sure each of these, put these in a particular order. And make sure they're in a particular order. So, I'll probably go, on these ones, I'll probably go left to right. So, 1, 2. And again, I'll have to go through and fix these because these are supposed to be tabs for the entire dialogue window. Not just this one area here, but that's how we're treating them for now. So I don't know if we're going to have more options or less options than what we have now. So instead of doing everything, all the controls, the tabs for all the controls, or that was 7, this one should be 8. We'll just do them specifically for this and then redo them later. So I'm going to have to take note of how we ordered these because we'll have to compare them to the list and get the right bit masks at the right place. I may also rearrange these again so that they're alphabetically in order. That might be a better way to do it because then everything will be together that way. And it'll be a bit more logical in terms of how they're ordered, rather than just wherever I felt like putting something. I wouldn't have to reorder the tabs here. I just have to redo the dictionary. What was that? It was 20 what? 24, 25, 26. Right, there's 26 options. Oops, 25, 26. Alright, so I got 26, 1, 2, 26 done. Now, what we need to do is to change the name on this to, well, not the label, but the dialog box. Drop down to CBox. So that's behavioral preset. The behavior presets is the first one. This one's going to be class presets, I guess. Okay. So now we go over here and we have our list of those. We have our list of those. So underneath this, we're going to do our uint list of the actual values. So public static list of uint. And then oh no, wait. Yeah, no, yeah. I was thinking of something else. So these will be behavior masks, I guess. Mob behavior masks. New list of units. Okay. So now, we need to take a look at this and, so can loot, aggressive, assist, cast sensor, idle, but then it's not cast sensor idle, it's cast sensor chase. So there are some differences. It looks like it's probably mostly the same. Be nice if I could drag. Actually, we can do. We can do it in another window, actually. Okay, this should be tabbed out as well. And then we can look at that as compared to this and have our lister. So can move is 1, looter 2, aggressive 4, assist 6, or 8 I should say. Then cast sensor idle is 16. Now we go to cast sensor chase, which is 512. So can attack is 128. No skill casting is 64. Change target. Which is actually change chase. Yeah. So that's 1024. Change target aggro and passive. So aggro is chase and passive is melee. Or no. How did I decide to do this? So change target chase is when an enemy's chasing another character, they can, if they're close enough, change target to another character nearby when hit by an attack. Melee is switch between targets when hit by normal attack when attacking someone else. So, in both cases, it's not aggro, actually. One is melee, so let's change the things here. It's not really melee and... Or it's not really aggro and passive, it's, and what's the actual change target, then? I think I was trying to think of... Because the change target melee seems a lot like change target to me. Oh, wait, that was change chase. Allows when... Okay, so switches... Oh, okay. So change chase is aggro. Change target is melee, and change passive is... no. Change passive is change chase. Because that's just a passive change. The player doesn't attack the enemy, it just happens to be in the attack range. So there's no actual attacking going on to that enemy, but it changes anyway. So, right. So we'll need to change that a bit. Change target. We said was 1024 change chase, which is not the case. That's change. That's change target melee. So 4096. Change aggro is when it's being attacked. So that's target change chase. So that's 8192. And then passive is change chase, which is 1024. All right. So target weak. 16, 30, 48. 13, 640. No, 16, 3, 84. Get the number right, jeez. Then angry, which is 2048. Random target is 32, 76, 8. Ignore melee. 65, 5, 36. Actually, we have to have a comma there. Forget the next line. Ignore ranged is 262, 144. And then the next one is the ignore magic, which is the one above that. So 31072. 131 rather. So ignore miscellaneous. That's 104, 857, 6. MVP, that's 52, 42, 88. Teleport back, or teleport block, which actually is not implemented. I'm not sure if I actually want to include that or not. Well, I want you to keep the elements, lined up. I'm not sure if we want to actually have that value do anything. Probably should, so that, because if it's there, we need to. I guess if it's there, we need to have it in order so we can properly process it. And it sounds like it doesn't do anything even if you set it. It's just not implemented yet. So 41, 94, 34. 41, 94, 30, and 4. Let's see, next up is knockback immunity. That would be 20, 97, 15, 2. Then detector. Detector. There's detector 33, 55, 30. 33, 55, 44, 32. 33, 40, 55, 44, 32. Okay. Let's see, fixed item drop. That's 16, 77, 72, 16. 16, 77, 72, 16. That is almost a, what are those called? Where you can read them both forwards and backwards the same way. Not ambigram, that's something else. What is next? Skill immune. That's the last one, so 13, 42, 17, 72, 8. I'm just going to copy that one. So that's a little bit too large to type in accurately. I expect it not to have typos. Then we need status immune, which is the one above it. 67, 10, 88, 64. And then no random walk, which is somewhere up in the first section, I think. Yeah, 32. Alright, so there's our list for that in that particular order. Now we just copy that back in to constant data. Let's overwrite that. Mob behaviors, mob behavior vals, actually, it should be not masks, vals. Not masks. So now what we'll do is similar to what we did over on IMDb Editor. We'll create a a map/dictionary, which will contain the checkbox elements and the uint values associated with those, and then we can use those to load data in. So dictionary uint string, or no, checkbox. And then that'll be, name, what do they use for these names? So whatever mask CK boxes, so, behavior mask CK boxes. Behavior mask CK boxes. Okay, and we need to initialize. Behavior mask CK boxes equals new dictionary, blah blah. And then we have to call so we may actually end up, well, I'm not sure if we did that we have to return it because it wouldn't be in the same class. But may want to think about externalizing these ones that's created to a utility class or something. So we're not calling them twice. It's not that much code really, it's just and to be honest, we can actually make this one. I didn't think about that. We can make this one thing. So we just need to pass through a group box. Group box gbox. And then the dictionary to, well, we couldn't do that. Yeah, I guess so. We could do that, but we're setting it, we're not just processing something and setting something like this up here. We're actually filling it. We're not operating on the group box or on a particular checkbox. We're actually building a list that's made out of the values consistent there. So I guess we can't do these together. It'd be nice if we could, but there probably is a way to do it, but I just don't want to try and figure it out right now. So we need to add this as a member, and we need to call build behavior val index. So build behavior val index. The group box name is gbox. Gbox. Well, I didn't name it, did I? Well, let's make sure we name it then. Gbox mob behaviors. And then this. That'll be mob behavior values. Okay. So that handles that. There aren't any other checkboxes, are there? No. So now everything else is going to be operating on the, so all these other things, all the drop downs will need to basically operate off of the other thing, the other method of loading in the data. These we'll have to figure out because we have to fill these with an item list. So we have to do similar to what we do with load item. We have to do there. You have to fill them with the item values. You can probably just copy the code from there over to here to do that. So these ones you may not be able to do it quite the same way. Well, let me see. We could build. I think we could do it. We just would be doing it dynamically. I guess we'd have to either that or we'd need to have one Maybe we would do one dictionary of items, and then use that dictionary for the data source for all of these individually. That's the best way to do it, I think, because they're all using the same thing. It's all item data, so we don't need to have anything really crazy in there. The scale, the race, the class presets, behavior presets, all of those can be done the same way we're doing the other drop downs. Oh, and the card will go through it with this as well. We'll just filter out any item that's not that does not have an item ID of 6, since that's a card ID, and that's what's supposed to be dropped there. So let's go ahead and do the other drop downs first here. So we've got the first two, the class masks and the behavior masks. Now we need to do the what were those again? The size and the scale and the race. So here now. So public static dictionary string and int, because these are going to be ints, not uints. We need to go to this one. Yeah. Okay. So I'm still not sure about the element. I think we just have it as a text box here. Somewhere? Where is it? Element. Did I forget to add the element in? I might have done so. Well, bollocks. Oh no, here it is up here, elements. Okay. What I might choose to do with that, ooh, that's gonna be, let's change that so that it's with the, or no, it doesn't depend on the, okay, it doesn't depend on the, on the race. So maybe we can break that into two. So what I mean by that is, of course we'll be making this even longer, but, oh no, actually it wouldn't be longer, we'd be unevening the number of elements in here. But what I was thinking of maybe doing was, since we have this like kind of like a chart here, a table, actually have it work on the assumption that element type is a different thing. So the problem is loading the data in. We'd have to look at the values here to figure out what the type is, and that's kind of annoying. Well, I mean, some of them contain 8s, some of them don't contain 8s. Yeah, typing in still, I guess typing in still the fastest way, and that's also I think the best way in terms of being compatible with custom elements and stuff like that. So, yeah, I won't do anything different with that. I was thinking maybe like have like a field where you have a drop down for the type, and then you select the level, and the value is automatically, generated because of that. But then bringing the data back in, we'd have to do something weird with that. So I won't do anything with that to change how it's set up right now. Anyway, so this is going to be, I mean, technically it still is kind of a mask, sort of. Actually, I more quickly did these ones down here. It's just going to be mob sizes and mob races, I guess. Equals new dictionary. String int. Whoops. Wrong one. Alright, there we go. So, this one's kind of simple. So small, medium, large. I will again put these in alphabetical order. So the first one will be, well, small, medium, large, large, small, medium. Yeah, I mean, it should be in some sort of order. I mean, small, medium, large makes sense in terms of the values that they are, but you don't technically know what the values are in here. You're just looking at a drop-down list, and drop-down lists normally are ordered by okay. So for these, I think, see, AG comes for AN. So actually, yeah. As I'm giving the lecture about being, what is this? Encountered an error and has been disabled. That's interesting. About things being in alphabetical order. These weren't actually in order, so we're gonna put them in order. Right. The order on these doesn't really matter as much as the order on these kind of things. These are just like tying the. This just makes it so we can tie the value to the what's showing in the drop down box inherently behind the scenes without having to do it with weird case statements to handle that kind of stuff. So whatever the order of these is, as long as the values don't change, they'll still be valid. So boss G comes after E. And most variations of alphabetical order, G becomes after E. Alright, and all these weird extra spaces in these. Kind of annoying. We do need to add a comma there, take the one out from here, take the extra space out. Those are already in order, these are already in order, these are in order. Okay. So, so this will be large. Actually, we need to have this in a bracket, or a curly brace thing here, and then that will be a 2. Medium, 1, and then small 0. And then public, static dictionary, string int, so this is mob race, mob races equals new dictionary string int. And then these are going to be, so angel, which is 8. Brute, which is 2. Demi-human, which is 8, I think. No, 7. 8 is angel, so that had to be 7, obviously. Duh. So demon, that's 6. Dragon, it's gonna be 9. Fish, that's 5. Let's see. Formless, 0. Sure. Standard pourings and other things like that. What else? Insect, player, undead. So, I guess insect will be next. And that's gonna be 3. Okay, player. $10. And then undead, which is 1. So 1, 2, 3. Where's 4? Insect is 4. Oh, typo. So 1, 2. No, 3 is missing. 3 is plant. Oh, plant. Yep, we are definitely missing plant. Alright, there we go. Now we have it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 0 as well. So those are there. Let's go back to our editor here. Actually, this one, actually. Let me see. These. So we can actually set a maximum value, right? I know we can. Where is it? A min-max value. I thought I saw maximum length and size, minimum size. So text box. Do we have some sort of I think there might be. I'm not entirely sure though. If there is or not. So C# text box maximum value. Max value. In parse, no. Oh, it should be the space there. Set a maximum value. Auto set minimum maximum value on text box. You should use every text box and what's functionality for. Simply check the text box. If it is numerical, then it checks, arranges, and applies perfect value. So, oh, okay. So we could do that, but I mean, isn't there a makes nonsense? That makes perfect sense. You define a maximum value, and then if that value is lower, or is, if that value is less than whatever's in the text box after it's parsed, then you set it to the maximum value. So I guess that's probably what we'll just do. This seems like the simplest solution. We have to do it. Oh, there's a try parse too. It's probably safer to do try parse because if it's not a we return to 0 if it's not a. That's more for the constraints kind of thing later on. It's kind of weird they don't have some sort of built-in mechanism for it. Text box entries. Screw that's MSDN. Microsoft's forums suck arse to the max. I hate to state the format. They're so messy and stupid. And a pain to actually look at physically. Let's see. Yeah, that's all pretty much what it is. So there is no internal way to do it. That's what I was wondering. That's what I thought. We'll deal with that later though. So we've got our drop downs here and here. We've got these two handled. This will populate the same way we do with the item file list. These now we got to figure out what we're gonna do with these. So first, what we need to do is we need to get a list of items for these, and format it so that's a dictionary. So let's go to our select item select code. So we're calling get item list from dhandle, and for each one of those, we're processing that into a list. Of items, and then we're building the. Or no. Yeah. So wait a second. For each string in item rec and Deanna get item list. Where are we doing the form? Is it in here? We're doing the formatting. Oh, we're doing the formatting in here. Okay. So I'm gonna use the same formatting. So all we have to do is call this then. Good. So get item list from data handler, and then we just process what we need to differently in the class. So we'll need to create one dictionary for that. So this will be a string, and this will be an int. So the string will be the ID plus name from data handler, and the int. Well, that's true. This is returning a list of string. Let's create it. Let's override this, or yeah, I think it's called an override when you have the same thing but different parameters returning. So instead we're going to say dictionary string and int. So let's just change that to this, and this to that. And then now what we want to do is add that for the string, and then the value is going to be the item ID. So idm.iid. And that's all we have to do. Simple as that. Right, we have the same parameters though. You can't just have it differentiated on the return. The parameters must be different. I mean, to me, I don't see why that's the case. I mean, the return type's different. So whatever the variable you're returning into should define which version of the function is being called. But for whatever reason, they didn't write the compilers that way. So we have to do something stupid like pass through just some bool b. This is stupid. Or to say b is stupid. And that's all known is stupid. If I can type correctly. We won't use it or anything, we'll just return it, pass it through so we can differentiate them. And yeah. Okay, so now string dictionary equals, so we'll call this item list, I guess. And then we will initialize it and then set it. Equals new. Then item list equals d handle dot get item list false or true. We'll pass true just because it is stupid that we have to do this. So that'll give us an item list. Then we need to do another one that's going to be card list. Same thing, basically the same principle though. Card list. And then okay, so let's do this. Let's, instead of this being this unused parameter, let's actually make it let's actually give it two parameters. We'll give it a bool b use specific item, and then we'll also pass through an int for the I type. So then what we'll say is, so well, this we'll need to make this 2 lines or more now, but that's fine. If all right, so now On this one now, we want to say itm list.add. Actually, I want to do an if first. Don't know why I didn't. I know we need to do an if first, but I didn't do it. So itm dot I type. So I type equals I type. So if the item ID that we're looking for is the same as the item that is currently being examined, then we want to add it. So add itm dot iid plus dash dash plus item dot English name, and then itm dot iid. So this will do the same thing as above, but we will get only the specific items that we're looking for. So this closes that. That closes that. We need to close the for loop again. That's what we're missing. And of course it screwed up the formatting there that we fixed. There we go. Okay. So, now let's go back to our editor here and we'll pass through true and 6 for cards. Get cards only. And this is card list. And we'll copy that, copy this. Alright. Just kind of need to fix that. This will be false and 0, since we have to pass through something for that. And, well, I guess we don't have to, but I'm going to. And then we have the card list. So we have our two things, dictionaries there. So now we need to set the dictionaries as the data sources. So for that, we need to first go over here and actually name all these drop downs because they're not named yet. So cbox item drop ID, or say item 1 drop ID. Alright, this is MVP. Right, we gotta differentiate those two. So cbox MVP drop 1 ID, I guess. This value is not valid. That would be if I didn't click outside of it. Out of the box and it tried to use it. And then type 3, or ID 3. And then we need to do the same thing here, but in this one, no MVP, just drop 1 ID. And then we need to do this 9 times. Drop 5. Drop 6. Drop 7. Drop 8 and drop 9. And then, really. Oh, wow. How the hell did that happen? Ah, come on. Stop being so annoying. Alright, and then the card drop ID. And not one because there's only going to be one of those. So then we need to actually also do the chances as well. T-box, MVP, drop 1%. Drop 3%. Oops. And then, again, same thing. Drop 6, 7, 8, 9, and nothing. So there is no 10. I looked for a way to maybe increase the number of drops above 9, but it's hard-coded into the client, I think, so I don't think that, well, maybe not. There might be a way to do it, actually. You'd have to modify a couple things, though. I think you'd probably have to modify not only the way that the mob table gets loaded into the database, into the map server, you'd also have to modify the way that the server processes that data, too. So it's theoretically possible, I guess, to add more drops. Which actually would be nice, because then I wouldn't have to overwrite stuff. T-box, card drop. Percentage. Okay, now, over here, all of those are going to get the item list now. So the MVPs and the normals, all of those will, and then the card will get the card one. So combo box, C box, MVP, drop ID 1 dot data SATA dot data source equals item list. Then we have to set the key and value. Dot show. Dot. Damn. What did I do with these? Display member. That's what it's. Display and value member. Key and value. Data source equals new binding source. Oh, new binding source. Okay, so equals new binding source. Okay, so what else do we need to do? Pass through a null parameter. The second one. Specific column list or list name data source to bind to. Okay, yes and no, because we're not binding it anywhere. We're just supplying it to the dropdown. And then display member equals key. And cbox MVP dropdown ID dot value member equals value. I think it's value, not val. Yeah. And then the index, set that to -1, otherwise it sets it to the first value in the list. And we gotta do that for everything. And actually we need to move this up, otherwise that won't work. Because we won't have initialized it yet. So all those drop downs, combo boxes get this treatment here. Okay, so we'll just use the find replace to do this. Well, actually, no, we don't need to. I think it'd be just as easy to do it this way, if not a little bit faster. At least for these ones. These ones, yes, we need to change it. Because instead of being MVP drop down, it's now C-Box MVP drop. Should just be C-Box drop. And we kind of screwed the ID out of that one, so fix those, and then oh wow, we actually had just enough. So into card drop ID. Okay, now that's with those. We need to also then bind the other ones as well. So C-Box. Mob class. Okay. And then we need the C-Box. Oh, we haven't given them names yet, have we? These two over here. C-Box mob scale and mob race. So mob races. Well, no. Mob. Oh yeah, we can do it that way. Doesn't matter. We can do whichever way we want to. And then mob sizes, I guess. Yeah. So C-Box, mob, race, and scale. Okay. So, those are all tied up now. Let's see, what else do we have to do? Mob location. We need to do those. So let's take a look. How do we handle it over here? Oh, we just set them up by right this way. Alright, I guess we can do that. Yeah, it's fine. So the item is now a mob. Alright, so let's really quickly mdb exits so idbe, so it should be exit mdbe, and then this dot close. And of course we also want to there's not to close it. We don't need to do anything with the D handle. I want to change the name though to something else. What do we call this one? On exit IDE clicked. So we'll just copy this real quick. Alright, so let's go and check out all that and see if it's worked. Let's see. Oh, right, same issue that we ran into on the other one. We need to, let's bring that over real quick. We need to, do the checking to make sure that the actual value is there. So where are you? Where was that? Is that actually up here? I think that was up here. Yeah. Oh, running still. In this case, though, it's going to be so unit value selected item dot value. This value to string. Oh, unselect. Okay, yeah. I just did that for checking. We don't actually need that there. Oh, oops. I actually need to take that off the. Yeah, because that's what happens when you do that stupidly. Save that. There. Okay, there we go. Crisis somewhat averted. Change this first, and then we can get rid of that, and then we don't have to worry about the other crap. Okay, save that. I'm gonna close this. All right. Okay, there we go. So presets all here. Good. Good. Awesome. These work. This didn't work. This didn't work though. Because let me see what. Maybe we didn't. Oh, I think I didn't change the actual thing that it's bringing in. It's still bringing in the item list of the card list. So there should only be one item in the card list, and that's the test item. Yeah, good. Perfect. That works. Scale, good. Good. And good. What else do we have that's dropped down that we can check? Nothing, that's all of them. Alright, so all the drop downs are good. So now that we have all that, let's see, is there a way we could, so if we pass through the control, which is a C box, yeah, we pass that through and also pass through the data source. So again, I'm trying to figure out ways that we can make this smaller and not so crazy. We have to call this every time we want to do one of these, but we wouldn't have to have all these lines of code repeated. So set cbox data source. So you would pass through the cbox, in this case cbox b presets, and then the const data dot mob behavior masks. So private, don't need to do that, but void, we need that. Combo box cbox, and then a data source. So probably have to define a, let's see. So how do you define a, so templates. I'm going to template argument, generic type parameters. So int t, return predicate t item. Okay, so we just have to use a t on the inside then. So if I just said yeah, I didn't think so. Let's see. Generic list t. So using t as type parameter, which one single letter type. For types with one single letter type parameter. Do name generic type parameters with descriptive names unless single letter name is more self-explanatory. So public void T, where T is so class T. Class needs to be generic. Let's see. So requires two. Oh right. Okay, we can't do that. Never mind. It does work. I just didn't define the second parameter. Duh. Okay. Because it can either be, this will either be a uint or it'll be an int on the value. So I want to be able to handle both. So combo box and then binding source. Key value. So really, once we change these, and then this to data source, should still work. So so arguments for the method cannot be inferred from the usage. Specify the type. Well, they should be able to. Alright, let's see. First roll. So pass. So serialization TMyObject of type T. So static class, extend it. Extension method like this. I want something a little less, more generic. So get value T object, sum object. If object is T, protected T get value. So return T object. Cannot return null. It's class. However, so T object, sum object. Where T is new. Turn T new. Very helpful. It's not what I want to do. I mean, I'll do it if I have to, but I'd rather pass it generically and only have to do one function. A data type in C#, something, or you could do it from generic method, which I tried to do and it says it doesn't like it. Badges, right. See, doc kernel. Do move doc fish. Oh, when we call it, we have to. Oh, right. That's the part I'm missing. We have to define what the dictionary is. So it's a string int uint checkbox. Oh, right. Behavior mask checkboxes. This is not that. This is for behavior presets. I got the wrong one here, that's why. Dot behavior vals. That's what we want. Using the generic method requires one type argument. Seriously? Oh. Damn. Gotcha. No, it doesn't like it. Ambiguity between T and T. T1, T2. And crap, which one is it? I don't even know anymore. So oh no, it is behavior masks. Okay. Never mind, I was right in the first place. Now what? Can I convert from... Oh, right, that one's a uint. Boom, okay, there we go. Okay, now. That's behavior masks. So all we really have to do is just take this out. And set cbox data source. This one's going to be a string int. Oh no, this one's uint too. Or not. Or it is. It is. Let's type of the name. Let's put a bunch in here so I don't have to keep typoing the name. Alright. So mob races and sizes, those are both valued. Oh, no, those ones are ints. So string int. String int. And those are also both string int as well. Alright, one extra we don't need. Okay, so cbox, that's going to be this. And that's going to be this. Scale and mob scales. Sizes, actually. Okay. So let's crap. Grab all of that and put it above this so it's where it needs to be. And then we just really need to do one of these and then we can extrapolate from that. So another 3. So 2 actually, so to get 3, and then we need another one. Change this one to just drop ID 1. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then the card ID. Or card drop, I guess. Okay, and then that should take place of all this other code here. If it works, which it should. Let's not see why it wouldn't work. Alright, save that and start and see if it does. Yes, it does. Good. Well, almost. The scale is off. I think we passed to the wrong one or something. This is good. This is all right. So if I choose one of this and I choose this, perfect. Why is the scale one not working? Mob sizes, string int to, oh, race, that's why. Size, or scale. Alright, so those are good now. Cool. So we got another way we can reduce the code over in the other one as well. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter. It's not that much over here. It's only like 1 or 2 that do that, or need that. So yeah, 3. It's not like a huge amount, so that really wouldn't. Well, awesome. It doesn't really give us that big of an advantage of doing it, other than removing. Let's see. So that would be how many lines? So this is total 12 lines of code. If you want to include the 2 spaces, that's actually 13 lines. 12, 14 lines. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines plus. So we're dropping it by about half if we do that, but at the same time, let's just do it, because that's awesome. Anything to reduce the amount of code over here, because this is already still kind of long, and getting around in here is kind of annoying. So let's just bring over the bring over a couple of these, and then we can do what we need to do from there. So item types, data source iBox, couple locale, and equip gen. Interesting. Item locations, gender types. Oh, those aren't UNs. That's why. Those are ints. Oh no, those are. Wait, what's going on here? This is a collection of UNs, string UNs. Oh, okay, that is UNs. What's this one? Why is that a UN? I think that's not correct. I need to fix that. That's not. It shouldn't be that way. These should not. This should not be a UN. This should be an int. And definitely not an INT, whatever that would be. Item types, locations, yes, that needs to be UNT. This doesn't, though. Save a little bit of memory usage by making sure these are ints, not UNTs. Okay, so that we can change back over here. So item types is int. That's UNT, that's int. Alright. So yeah, we save a little bit of code, I guess. A little bit of code space. Let's see. So those are good. Now we need to do the handling for this. So again, we'll do what we did last time. What do we call that method, though? Grab it here. So on check changed, and this is going to be on mob behavior. Mob behavior box changed on mob BHV, I guess. Behavior box check changed. And then let's just bring that code over from here, and we'll just modify it as we need to. These are the other ones I want to try and figure out what we can do with to make it smaller. I'm not even sure how you would do it, though. Because and there's probably a way. So maybe we do, because we already have these in a list, or well, it's not really a list; it's a dictionary of the this value and so maybe we could do it then. That's an interesting thought. So if we have them in there, so we have to go through it. So we do a for loop, and we would say, so for each pair, because I have no clue what would be a key value pair. For each key value pair, uint checkbox. And we'll say CK box. In job mask CK boxes. So if sender dot equals CK box, if CK box dot checked else, so then in this case it would be job equip value plus equals, so checkbox dot value dot checked plus equals checkbox dot key, or minus equals dot key. I think that will work. And wow, that is a lot of code to get rid of. Holy crap. So let's just after we don't want to do a whole bunch of. If we do it during. It's gonna keep on bringing it up. But I'm gonna do a message box dot show this job UQP val dot toString test and message box buttons dot OK. So I'm gonna see if that'll work. So 0. Nah. Doesn't look like it's working. Okay. So let's put a couple breaks here, and we'll see what we get out of that. So DB editor. So okay, the equals isn't working. Sender equals C check equals checkbox. Job masks checkboxes equip job. So okay, continue. So, sender is what? Text, nothing, state checked. Well, that's the value of it. We want the type. Is it all that's there? No, it should be more. Somewhere in here should be the name. So it probably compares all the data together, I guess. I wonder if the... So which one, do we know which one this is? Thief. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's the 7th element of the job masks. I'm just wondering if this doesn't update, which would make sense. So, no, the 7th, check state 1, there it is. It does update. So, why doesn't this match? So, sender.name. Really? Oops. So this compares the data specifically to each other? Oh, bollocks. I see what's going on. I'm betting it works now. 1. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Well, kind of cool. We had a problem here. This didn't subtract correctly for one of these. So 5. So what is this one? Oh crap! I don't want to get rid of it. Oh wow! It keeps adding and removing and adding, and that's not right. Okay, something is very wrong here. So let's put another break. Okay, so here's one issue with this, and that is that it's going to add it if it's checked and has been checked, not if it's newly checked. Um, so, okay, how do we handle that? So, is there another, let's see, checked changed. Let's try check changed instead. So, so sender equals if check is changed, and then we'll add a third condition. And even adding a third condition, it's still way less code. If cbox dot value dot checked. So only if it's checked, only if checked has changed, and only if it's the sender is the current. What is this? Can only appear with a plus, minus, or minus equals. Plus equals, minus equals. CK box. What is that? Check change. What is that? Should just be a bool, shouldn't it? What the hell? That should have been C#, not C $. Checked changed. See if checkbox has changed. No, I know that already. I'm talking about from within it. I think this is one of those times where you're just going to get a bunch of event handler suggestions and not actually. So, is checked has value and is checked value. Okay. So, let's see, what else do we have in here? Check state. Gets the state of the checkbox. Check state change, which is an event handler. Auto check. Check a line. So check states. Check state to bool. Because see, the problem is that we're doing all this from the same, all the processing from the same thing. Now, if we did one of these for each box, that wouldn't be a problem. But we're trying to do this in with the least amount of code as possible. So if we, so sender. But wait, why is that in? If it shouldn't be coming in here if it's not the sender. So no, that should be fine. It should only check it if it's the sender. So no, that should be just fine the way it was. only the sender can actually get into here to change it. So why is it? There's one of these didn't work correctly. It was one of the higher ones. I'm gonna go. Let's go figure out which one it was. That way we can figure out what's not subtracting. So I think I hit Death Knight. Yeah, see Death Knight. That's it. Oh, damn. I undid the fix I did to make it work. Alright. So, true. So, what's the key? Okay. Continue. Since it's not checked, we remove it, and we get... Oh, that's interesting. So it's not subtracting correctly? Oh, Jesus. Yeah, let's just add it back in again. Why should we don't need to subtract. Subtracting's for wussies. Okay. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, I think it'll work this time. That was the problem. We had a plus instead of a minus. Don't know why I didn't see that. Okay, there we go. So one massive number, another slightly more massive number. Okay, and if we take this out, okay, take this out. So this should be 98. Or, not that one, the one after it. Yeah. 96 rather. So yeah, now that works. Good. Cool. So we can do that and very, very, very much reduce the amount of code. Now that only works for ones where we've actually created this kind of a thing for. So class upper, did I do? Well, that's no, yeah, class mask checkboxes. I did do that. Okay, good. Very good. So we just go back down to there and get rid of the slightly, well, not slightly less, but much less expensive code for this. Still, we'll be cutting down our code length, so that's always good. Okay, sender for each in. This one's going to be class. I think it's class mask. For each, and this is just going to be an int, not a uint. And class upper. I didn't check to see what the name of the thing was before I deleted it. Job equip upper, val. That's really all we have to do. Perfect. All right. So we made it much smaller. That's good. So now, what was I doing that led us down this crazy path of that? So, oh, the check. Okay, yeah, check changed box on this. Yes, that's right. So let's just grab that whole code again. Paste it in there, and we shall change what we need to change. That will become this. No, this. And then we need an intermediary integer for that uint. So mob behavior. Okay, there and there, and becomes a uint. Okay. So again, we'll do the same thing. We'll do a show message or message box show to test it. Cool. All right. So now let's go ahead and work on the drop downs, the behavioral preset drop downs. First, let me go grab. We're gonna need the get masks code. Okay, now so behavioral presets. So on selected index changed. Now, one thing this won't do is we won't load it for this won't be loaded to anything. So this is strictly just kind of shortcut access kind of thing only for when you're creating it. These will not be loaded to anything. So in other words, like when we save it and then load it again, just these will be checked. These won't be displaying anything. The other thing we want to do is whenever we change these, oh right, I remember what I wanted to do with this now. With these specifically, we need to add. I just remembered why I wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it and then kind of talked myself out of doing it, but I remember why I wanted to do it. For those, I want to be able to say that we want to take out the preset. So if we set a preset, I want to be able to take it off too. For that, we need to go to these two. Need to add one more, and they'll just be blank. So nothing and -1. Oh, units can't be negative though. It's true. Okay, we'll set to 0 because that's basically the same thing. 0 is no options whatsoever. Same thing for this one. Okay. So now over here, if I can get over here without messing things up too badly. So over here on selected index changed. Whoops, I want to name it something else. So we'll call it on behavior presets changed. So it sounds a lot better than the gobbledygook it spits out automatically. So now what we want to do is we want to say first we need to get masks. So we have to go for uint mask in get masks, and then we need to pass in the values. So the sender dot, or rather, well, we know what it is. It's the behavioral one. So cbox b presets dot selected value. I think. From object to uint. So convert to uint. I won't take that either. So select the values in object. Okay, so let's check get. We may have to like cast it to a key value pair or something. So this dot combo, yeah, that's what we have to do. I think we kind of did something similar over in the NMDB somewhere. Trying to remember where. Yeah, here, get selected index. Oh, yeah, set selected index. So something similar would work over here. So key value pair using cbox b presets dot items dot dot okay, that works. Now let's let's try and get this a little bit shortened down a bit here. So int, or no, uint, or no, int, yeah, int index equals, and then we can just substitute this for index. Shorten up a bit. Alright, so that passes through uint, and then we get back the list. And so for each one of these, now we need to loop through the checkbox list, and if it's not already checked, well, first we need to do is we need to say if the if index is not, well, no, if so actually what we could do is even more uint mask val equals and then pass that through here, because then we can use the mask val again, because we want to make sure it's not 0. If it's 0, then we want to undo everything. If it's not 0, then we want to check the states of what's there. The question is, does 0? 0 would return 1 mask. I think. So you may have to, let's see, if it's not 0, do this. If it is 0, we'll do something else. So if it is a value, in other words, we are selecting a preset. And now we're gonna. So this is where it could be a little bit. So what will happen is that if it doesn't equal the mask, we'll uncheck it. So while that may uncheck things they've already checked, well, they're choosing a preset, so the preset should take precedence and they can check whatever they want to. You shouldn't be changing the preset while you've already checked things yourself. That's what presets are for. It's for giving you a starting point for working on stuff, modifying something. So we're looking through each mask, and then we have to say for each checkbox. No, for each key value pair. And that's going to be a uint and a checkbox. Cbox. Well, it shouldn't be Cbox. It should be KV or something like that. Kpair or whatever. KV, keyval. I think we'll do that. Keyval, so it's not so confusing. I'll change this to keyval. Checkbox keyval in what is it? Behavior mask checkboxes. So if keyval dot key equals mask val, or no, mask, because we're doing each mask individually. So if it equals the mask, okay, so if the key equals the mask, check it. If it doesn't equal the mask, uncheck it. We're going through each mask. Every mask, every checkbox, for every mask value. So this might have the effect of unchecking things once they've been checked. Maybe we don't want to do it that way. Maybe we want to uncheck everything before we start. So for each key value pair, key val dot value dot checked equals false. And actually we can do this as a one-liner. I'm doing it this way because what'll happen is I'll call this. I think we can do it this way as a one-liner. Maybe not. It might be too complicated for that. Invalid and yeah, so it can only be for returns or something on these. Oh well. It can still be a one-liner here. Well, could have been and will be. And yeah, I'm not gonna collapse it even further. I think you can only, in my opinion, you should only do this for one line. You shouldn't do it for two different brackets. So like you can't have like a bracketed section and another bracketed section on the same line. That just gets too difficult to read. So we will call this to reset all the selected options. That way we don't have to worry about unchecking things as we go along. So just only when we are equal, then we basically do the same thing we did here, except in reverse. So I'm just going to copy this back up and change it to true. And I can make this a one-liner. Alright. So for each mask that's there, we check the box for it if it's there and if it's not already true. Let's just do that. And not dot checked. So if it's not checked, we don't want to reset it to checked. I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt anything, but just logically, you wouldn't want to. You only want to check something that's not checked. So that's when we change it. Now, let's see if it actually works. No. What is this? Out of range. Selected index is -1. Oh. Yeah. Alright. So, and then we need to say if index does not equal -1. Because it will equal -1 sometimes. And if it does, then we'll just set this to 0. Because that way it just sets nothing at all. Mask val to 0. I'll need to pull this out to here and then move this. And actually, we don't even need to do this, to be honest. We can just set the 0 up here. Alright. So behavioral presets. Aggressive 2, test. Cool. Seems to work. Let's change it to angry. Cool. That is awesome. Let's take out that message box because that's getting really annoying. And you can't do it because it's running. Jeez. So annoying. I mean, in C++ you can kind of do it sometimes, but maybe not all the time. It doesn't yell at you when you try to change something when it's running though. It just will either rebuild and continue running, or it will just throw you an error message, underscore error message, that you can hover over and it will show that. Same kind of style of message. Cool. That is what I was hoping for. Now, let's do the same thing for the other one. So we have this. I'm assuming we have it named. Yeah, class presets. So we keep that. So on class presets changed. Okay, so we have the here's what we can do with this. Let's get a little smart with this one, because this we still have to clear everything out because we still have that same issue. What we'll do though is is we'll add the we'll add the mask value of the C presets if the index is not -1 to the mask here, and really we should do that up here as well, and then do the same thing, because what this mask value really is, this not the mask value, the other thing, the hell, where is it? The behavioral val. Because this is all going to the behavioral val. That's what all this stuff is about. So if behavioral val is not, if behavioral val, well, even if it's 0, we'll add it that way. Because whatever this is, that plus the value that we're bringing in is going to be the entire bit mask for it. We won't actually physically modify this, but we will use it. So we need to still do something similar to this. I'll bring this down here. This, of course, is going to be changing from this to CBox class presets. And that's still right. So equals mask value. So if we'll do that, and then if this has a value, we will add it to well, it doesn't even matter, even if it's 0, we can still add it. Mask val plus equals this. We will not reset. No, we will reset, because whatever's in the behavioral value for the bit mask will still be able to set everything based on the everything there. So you'll understand better once I show you what I'm talking about here. So we go to here. So let's say I do this. Let's say let's do aggressive 8, right? So the behavior is going to be aggressive 8, but I also want it to be a boss monster. So as you can see now, we have these still here, but then we apply the boss monster statuses. Well, let's say that we want to go. Let's say let's undo that. Let's say that we want to do an MVP. Oh, where is the MVP? I guess we have to check that ourselves. Let's say we're going to do a one of these guardian ones. Let's say aggressive 4, and we want to make this an event mob. So there you go. Let's say that we want it to be maybe not that. Maybe we want it to be a guardian mob, since we're using a guardian behavioral set. And there we go. Okay, let's change this. Let's say we want to do this as a passive mob. Passive mob that's also a boss. So you can do all that kind of stuff. So you can use the behavioral and then the class preset to modify what you already have selected, and then select everything else you want. So let's say that in addition to all that, let's make it an MVP, and let's also give it a random target. So now we've basically customized our passive boss mob. So cool, that all works nice. So what else do we need to do? We've got these working. We've got these set up. We've got this. Oh wow, it's still showing everything again. Did I undo my... Oh, wait. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Card list. When we so quickly switched over to this one because it's a lot better, I forgot to change that to card list again. So everything is working. All the weird stuff in here is working, and now all that's left is about bringing in data and parsing it. So that I think we'll leave for another time. So thanks for watching the stream if you did watch it live. I will be switching over to. We'll be doing another stream in a bit. I'll wait for this to kind of clear, and then I'll start up a new one. That's just going to be an open stream. It's not going to be about anything in particular. I'm going to do some gaming on different games, and we'll take a dip into Surviving Mars again, and show you what I've got going on there. I've actually kind of gotten used to how it works, and I've also added some mods too to make it a little bit more easy to get through. For sure, though, the USA. Well, I'll talk about that when we get there. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, if you have any comments, questions, put them below. And as always, we'd appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. And as I said, I will be right back in maybe a couple minutes or two. Two couple minutes. However many minutes you want to think that is. I guess 2 couple minutes would be 4 minutes.